Welcome to today's Business Spotlight. Today, my guest is Mr. Hugh Kenny from Kotek. Hugh, you're very welcome.
Thanks. Thank you. It's good to meet you. See you again. It's been a while since we've been talking, Tom. So yeah, good to catch up.
It's been several years and lots has changed. Have changed in your business. We're dying to hear about it. So tell the audience here, what do you do and how long have you been doing it?
Yeah, well, we're 20 years in business, just gone by in May there. So we've seen a lot of growth in that. I started out tinting vehicles back in May 2004, and after about 5 or 6 years doing that, primarily all by myself, we just started to look beyond that, and my wife got involved in the company, and we brought on start putting film on buildings essentially. So where the glass, it coincided with, I suppose, the popularity grew for glass in offices and homes, and with that came the Achilles heel of people either overheating in it or not being able to see their computer screens, or maybe UV damage from fading. So where there's lots of glass, there's lots of issues. And so people don't always want blinds. They want to maintain that natural light coming in. So, and they want to keep their views. So we had a range of films that we have that we apply to glass, to homes, to offices, to factories, to schools, to hospitals. We've done everything right now, and the range of films has grown, like from security films, which has gone actually quite popular over the last few years, probably regrettably, because it's due to everything from terrorism threats to, we have done embassies in Dublin, residents of the Phoenix Park, residents of the US ambassador out in Phoenix Park. They were the high profile ones. So there's quite the variation in what we do. And then the second part of the business is graphics, manifestations. So we work a lot with fit out contractors who will fit out offices where they have, again, a lot of internal glazing. They want to put their privacy bands on it, incorporate branding, wall graphics, maybe some, and then we're doing signage as well. So we've added to what we do, but they're all tying with the core of our business. We don't go into something that we're just, totally away from it. We try to stay with what we know best and what we have the expertise in house. And while we didn't have that expertise, we have recruited, I suppose, very positively over the last few years, and brought that from various sectors. And they're in here now under one roof, and we're giving them a career where they can develop their own careers. And yeah, we've had some really good results, and yeah, it's been an exciting and challenging time, but yeah, it's been good. It's been good. So
it sounds like a hell of a journey, and I'm sure it's been a really easy growth path for you over the years.
Yeah, definitely, Tom. Yeah, it's look at it. That's the joys of, you wouldn't, entrepreneurs. I don't know whether it's sometimes whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, that spirit you have, but it's something I've always wanted to do. So, while there's days, yes, certainly it does feel like quite a lonely place. When the more people you take on around you, the more good people you take on, that becomes less of a problem. And then the opportunities that arise, because when you bring in these people and bring in these products, people recognize that, companies recognize that, and I have to say, this is a great country to do business in, because companies want to give you a chance. And we deal with a lot of multinationals in that as well. So they're Irish branches, but it's all about delivery. And if you promise, don't overpromise, only deliver what you can do, or only promise what you can deliver on. And people will reward you for that. And we found that, but just be straight up with people, the good or the bad, just be down the line with them, and they don't forget that. So that's what's worked for us in the past.
So the relationship is very important, building the right relationships with your clients, with your customers.
It's simply everything, Tom. It's you may get away, you may get one chance, you may get even a second chance, but by then people just don't have the time. Nobody has the time. The people we're dealing with are dealing with, their facilities management people, their contract managers, their QSs. They're all under deadlines. We're all answering to somebody. They don't have the time for, essentially, for people who are just going to tell them one thing and not deliver on it. And you won't survive long in this. So, and that doesn't mean we've always got it right, but when we haven't got it right, or we're going to miss something, we came and we told them straight up, listen, we're under pressure here, whatever, like that. Just be honest. Honesty is the only thing. One of the most successful companies we work with, their main guy in it said, look, Hugh, we'll have lots of work for you, but just, if something's not going to work, if you're not going to make that deadline, just tell us. We can all action it together then. Thing is, if new not showing up or something like that, that's when we really have a real problem. And
so clear communication is of the utmost
communication.
thing.
Absolutely, Tom. Yeah, that's in a nutshell.
Fantastic. So, Jim, what do you attribute your growth to in particular? Any particular factors that you would attribute your major growth to?
I would say a couple of things. I always knew, have a goal, have a vision, and really have that. I mean, I know it sounds like almost on every business book and it's everywhere like that, but it is so important. And maybe it's just as you get a bit more experienced and a little bit older, you just realize that. I mean, I knew where I wanted to, pretty close to where I wanted to be right now. I certainly have a vision of where I want to be in another 5 years with this company, and stick to that. I wouldn't say write it down. You don't need to write it down. It's in your head, but you need to then relay that to your team and bring in the team, and you'll recognize quite soon that those team members that will buy into that and those who don't probably won't be with you for the long term. And that's probably that is a good thing. But then like that is, so if you have that growth and that just drives you, that'll drive you every day to say, okay, you'll take the hits, you'll take the bad ones, you say, okay, because the positives will far away it and you will watch the growth will come. And then just again, like Pop said earlier, give a dedication to your clients, promise them and deliver on that promise. If you do that, they will reward it. And I'm sure it's the same in every country, but I've seen it here anyway. Companies will reward people who give a good service. And that's where we've experienced the growth.
So tell me a hard question then. If you were to start your business again from square one, would you do anything differently?
I sometimes think about this thought, and I have to say, and maybe I was just a bit strange. I'm not sure I do an awful lot different because I started actually on the tools. And so I went up through the fitting, through the, from the vehicles, then up to the buildings. So I'm really aware of because being out there, being the salesperson, then the installer, and then the person who invoiced to work more or less, I know everything that a customer expects of you. I know what they need, what they're trying to achieve. I know how they want it delivered and how they want you to turn up on site and to deliver and your people to turn up on site and how just to finish that and give that customer service. So we have done everything. We've grown. Maybe we should have grown faster, but because being 20 years in business, but I don't think maybe there was a lot of days when there's a lot of pressure, an awful lot of pressure when you're on your own, or maybe there's two or three. So maybe you'd if you could, you'd scale up a bit quicker, but being able to do it organically, we didn't go down the massive loans route. We tried to say, okay, let's do this. If the company had a good year, we invested in new people mainly, and then new equipment and different offices, and we've grown now. We've just moved into this new 6,000 square foot unit 4 months ago. So bringing our factory and our office under one roof. So, have I regrets? Certainly there's been things we've got wrong. But looking back at it as a whole, I think, no, I pretty much do it again. Start out, and I'd encourage anyone but maybe I didn't take enough advice from people like action coaches that early on who might have been able to see ways around something. When you're a business owner, you sometimes go the long route, whereas somebody with the experience of, again, let's say action coach can give you a straight line how you could speed up on getting to where you want to go. So probably that maybe trying to do too much yourself, not taking that advice. Not that you didn't want to take it, it's just that you didn't know it was available. Yeah. So that's probably the one thing that would come across.
Well, I think you mentioned so many key points. I mean, it is a lonely place when you're a business owner and setting up your business and taking on people. And speaking of your team that you mentioned earlier there, obviously they're key to your growth, developing that great team. What are the major attributes that you would look for when you're hiring people?
This one became really clear, I suppose, over the past few years and maybe it was because in COVID times and this whole new era of communication like Zoom and that, but you need to meet people. You need to, when we're recruiting people, you need to meet them and almost see the whites of their eyes and see body language, just see it's genuine people. I mean, I have had interviewed people and took on people who had the best interviews and you thought, wow, these are going to be game changers. And they weren't. They, for whatever reason, maybe we weren't the right fit for them. It's definitely not all a one-way street here, but it just didn't work. And so now I just look for genuine people. They won't have all the skill set that we need right now, but they have this willingness and you can see in them a hunger to improve themselves and that they'll buy into the company. I suppose you're looking for a reflection of what you would have been yourself at that particular age, maybe where you just wanted to learn and you wanted to make that company treat like your own. And we don't ask for too much. We're not asking for people to work crazy hours. We're not asking we respect that work-life balance, but just be genuine. If you get genuine people on board, everything else will fall into place, Tom. It's, people can learn, people can be trained, and the tools can be given to them. But if you get someone with the wrong attitude, there's nothing you can do If it's all about the money for them, then it's not going to work.
It's just a job. It's just a job.
It's just a job. Yeah.
No, I have to say, fantastic.
But there isn't, I suppose, it's up to the employer to give them a place where they can see how they can grow their own career and offer that training. So it's not just, you need to give them that vision to have their own vision. They will want to progress. And look, ultimately they will probably, if they progress enough, they're going to leave. But in a strange sort of way, then you've done your job, so and try not burn any bridges and go from there.
And how have you managed then for yourself then to balance the work-life situation? And obviously you try to make sure that your team don't overwork as well, but for you personally as the business owner, when were you able to manage to actually get your personal time correct for yourself?
A couple of things. So I had straight up, I had a daughter 12 years ago, and with one child, and that changed everything for me because I just said, I am, I just want. So she's born 2012, and so I don't mind what time we start work at. I'll start as air design, but I'm rarely here after 6 o'clock in the evening. I don't need to be. I'll work. I rarely work weekends. And I try to reflect that right across the company then to all. So came quite easy because I just wasn't going to sacrifice it. I know it's a quote from someone else, but I always said it. Rebecca's my daughter's name. Every minute that waste, I would not spent with Rebecca is a minute wasted. Like so, now she's 12, but my wife and daughter, just family time I dedicated to it, and I take long weekends when I can. Now they don't come; they come easier now, and I take holidays. Just make sure and take that one main holiday a year because you need to just switch off and just turn. And I'm actually good at it. I put the laptop away when I go back. Put it out of hours or out of office. And I have people I don't leave unattended. It'll be sent on to somebody, the team here. So there's somebody actioning the office, the phone is to the office. And I just, switch off because you learn that. You learn that it's all about family and health. And so it's really, really important. I think it can be sort of overstated sometimes or maybe understated, but so that's essentially what I've done.
I think that's very well answered. It's not all about the business. It's your personal life is just as important. And I have to say, it is very interesting because a lot of people, and even I have clients who find it hard to say, I can't turn off at 6 o'clock. I'm still working at 9 o'clock at night. And it is kind of a mental decision you have to make and then do something different to make it work, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And look, I check my emails and that constantly, but they don't stress me out. I'll have my emails on my phone, I'll see them sometimes a bit later. But I can switch off from that. So I am aware. But if something needs to be actioned, I can be on it. But I just don't need to be on it all the time. I'll make sure it's being addressed by somebody. But not most if somebody hasn't contacted you before 5 o'clock in the evening, chances are they can wait till the next morning. And if not, you can. There's the odd exception, and you'll action that too, of course.
There's always the odd exception. So tell me, what does the future of your particular industry look like in the next 5 years for you?
I see lots of opportunities for growth. Tom, I just see, so we wanted to get this model sorted out, what we're doing here in the Republic of Ireland. So now we're dealing with Intertrade Ireland who are anxious for us to do more work in Northern Ireland. We're also trying to engage with EI, but we've recently completed a couple of projects in the UK. So we see that we could just bring this model that we have here and bring it to other parts. There's also in here, we're based just out in Wicklow, just outside of obviously outside of Dublin, but and still the majority of our work is Dublin based, but there's an awful lot of work around the country. So we want to go after more of that. And we've brought on new products. So we're continually trying to bring these new products on to get that bit of a wow factor, to get the attention of architects, of specifiers, of clients, and just say, this is what we do. And by doing that, then we can bring this further, because genuinely we see, we're recruiting. We've took on 4 new staff in the last, let's say, 2 months. We're recruiting, the process of interviewing for a salesperson now. So we just see lots of opportunities still. And there's been all people who talk, is there a slowdown coming? Is there that? But look, we just, again, that's
been there often enough, it will happen.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you can't control that. So we're very positive here about the future. So positive but realistic as well. So not overexposed, that if things did slow down, we'll be, you'd like to think we'll be able to take a bit of turbulence for a while. So that's what we're trying to do and grow the company. And I have to say, my wife Martina, who's the financial controller here, is very, very important. I haven't mentioned her here in this conversation here, but she drives a lot of that side, not the glorious side of things, the stuff in the background, that horrible stuff, that finance part that has to be dealt with, So you wouldn't be doing it without having a little bit of strength. The company gets a bit stronger.
All integral parts and all team members play a part. You'd be delighted
absolutely
to be mentioned. Hugh, I could talk to you a lot more on this. Fantastic to hear about your success. Last question for you. What advice would you give to an entrepreneur starting out? Would there be a few key points that you'd give to them?
Yeah, get again, something I brushed on there, engage with people like your local enterprise office. Fantastic organization who give huge help, assistance in so many ways. They'll point you in the right direction, connect you with people, and with companies like Action Coaching. Get a mentor if you can. It's not easy. It's always easy, but there's a lot of availability of it there, and there's a lot of assistance there to get that. And just go for it. I mean, if you have the hunger to go for it, just go for it. Don't say, "Oh, I should have done this." Do not regret it. Go for it. If it doesn't work, that doesn't work. If it's in you, you're going to try something again until it does work, and it will work, because if you got it in you and it's a realistic goal, then you'll get there. And there's always this, like I said, this is a great country for doing business. And I'd love to be. I'd start a business again. If God forbid, if anything happened to this one, I'd be starting something different tomorrow. I really would. So just go for it. That's really what I'd say. I could go into a lot more detail about that, but if it's in you, just use it.
On that high note, Hugh Kenny, Cotech.ie, thank you so much for your time today, and I wish you every success in the future.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you.